Jumbo, fellow adventurers, thoughts become things, and welcome to a 90-minute action-packed workshop. I am your moderator, your uh, fellow student, the guinea pig for what's going to be an amazing uh, turning point in all of our lives as we learn the truth about the nature of the spirit guide world. We're going to learn three ways that we can all call on the spirit guides that we are innately blessed with, that we wouldn't have come here without, to get help fast. And I'm not doing this alone. Of course, we've got the world renowned Sonia Choquette, she's written more books than I can even keep track of, and they're in more languages than I even knew there were languages. She's a popular guest on the Oprah show back in the day, and she is now hailing from Paris, France. She lives the life of her dreams because she knows how to manifest things with help from the spirit world. Sonia Choquette, welcome to the platform.
Hi, Mike. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be with all of you. This is really a pleasure and a joy, and it's going to be fun. And I'm very excited to open up this world to everybody because I think we need it.
I think we do. This is a really pivotal, I don't think I
Yeah.
think that's obvious, time in the history of consciousness on planet Earth, where we're going through what I think is a transformation from the dark yielding to the light. And there's resistance, there's strife, there's fear. These are primitive times, spiritually speaking. I like to say when we think that life is happening to us and we're unaware that we are happening to life. And I think what better way to gain traction and discover the truth is to realize, as I said, we would not have come here to these sacred jungles of time and space if we would be all alone. We have lifelines. We have a pact. We have peeps on the other side who agreed to be there for us if we but ask for help, if we but know that they are there. Sonia, what do you have up your sleeve for us today, tonight in Paris, France?
Well, I want to start with a story because it's going to help us understand what's actually happening and help us create the context in which we can really begin to accept spirit guides. So the story goes like this. A while back, it was many years ago, I was teaching a workshop in Kauai, and it's just a beautiful island, just a beautiful place. But the truth is, I personally have never really been that comfortable in the water. So after the workshop was over and all the students went home, and I'm with my couple of friends who helped me do the workshop, we went to the beach. And I'm the person that says, you all go in the water, I'll watch the stuff. And one of my friends was like, Sonia, why don't you go in the water? And I was like, I like it. It's beautiful. I see it there. And he said, but you haven't experienced it. So I thought about it for a minute and I thought, you know what? You're right. I am watching this. I'm wanting to have this experience, but something in me is just feeling a little uncomfortable, out of control, not sure. So I said, you know what? That's it. I'm going to hire this cute guy over here who's at the snorkeling booth, and I'm going to go snorkeling. I am actually going to overcome this resistance, not just watch from afar, seeing everybody else having fun. So I get the guy and I say, okay, I need to go in. I'm not comfortable, but I really want this experience. So he said, no problem. Get the goggles, get the flippers. And we start walking out into the lagoon. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I'm not ready, and water's up to about my thighs, He's like, okay, waits for a minute. And he's, are you ready? You only booked me for 45 minutes. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. And so we take a few more steps. Now I'm like up to my ribs. I was like, wait, not ready. I'm cold. I'm not ready. And he waits for a minute and he's like, okay, putting up with me. He said, are you ready? I was like, no, I'm not ready. He goes, you're ready. And he grabbed me and pulled me under the waters before I even knew what happened. And in one moment, my entire comprehension of life switched, because right before me exploded the most gorgeous world of beautiful creatures that were right there, that I was not capable of seeing 2 minutes before. Schools of fish and sea creatures and plants. It was unbelievable. And I spent the whole time, before I know it, he's pulling me out, and I'm thinking, no, we're not done yet. And when I got back on the beach and I sat down, I thought, that world was a breath away. And I did not know it existed. I'm what I've been missing. But then I thought, it's the same with the world of spirit guides. There's a whole world here just a breath away that is so magnificent, so beautiful, so spectacular. And I want to be that cute guy on the beach for you, only I'll be that cute girl. I want to take you into that world and have you experience the same explosion of wonder and connection and beauty, and realize it's there for you. So that's how I want us to enter this experience, that it's just a matter of shifting your perspective a little bit. It's just a matter of opening your sense of adventure and wonder, and we will have a great experience. And that's really how I want to start the evening. So that is really important. So I'm going to teach you tonight how to have that adventure.
That is such a great story, Sonia. What's been there all along and we didn't know it. And that's the inner realm. That's the world where we came from, that we are immersed in. So I'm game to be the guinea pig. I'm a student in all of this. I have, if I may share, have always felt like, if I have a question and I wait, the answer comes forth. But I've always kind of felt like, I've got to muscle it myself, that it's me and my intellect. I need to find out how and where my guides are and how to expand the equation so that I don't feel all alone, sweating the bullets when I haven't figured something out. So should the need arise, you need a guinea pig. I'm here.
Okay.
We're going to go through 3 different things that you're going to be sharing with us. And I want everybody to know that if you're watching this on the Tut dashboard, which 99% of you are, then I want you to look below the live and or recorded video if you're watching this after the fact, and you're going to see a little link for a PDF worksheet. It's a very simple sheet that gives you space to take your own notes for the 3 ways to connect with spirit guides for fast help. And you're going to have to write in those 3 ways. This is a way that's been proven to help you integrate what you're learning. If you don't have the time or the resources right now to print something out or to download it, complete it on your computer, just try to grab a pencil and paper if that's convenient where you are. If you're watching the recording, put it on pause. But this will be your takeaway, this free downloadable PDF, so that you can jot your notes accordingly. If you're watching on a desktop, laptop, tablet, and most mobile phones, you'll see to the right of you, to the right of this screen right now, there's a panel for comments. Shout out, tell us where you are. And as a question comes to mind, we have moderators behind the curtains here who are going to relay some of those questions to the best of their ability. They're going to pick questions that apply to as many people as possible. Always the right question gets asked and presented. And Sonia will, towards the latter part of our time together in this session, be answering questions that were submitted live. So give us a shout out. Tell us where in the world you're watching this from. It's always so fun to see if we can hit all 7 continents, which is a great possibility today. Ask your questions, and in some cases, you might be on a mobile device where you cannot see the side panel for comments. In that case, just click through to the YouTube window, and there will also be a dialogue place for you to ask your live questions or to give your shout outs. Okay, I think that's everything that I wanted to share. Sonia, any tips or heads ups
Yeah.
before I give you the stage?
So I want to address just first of all the PDF, why we're doing it, and what your backup plan is if you can't write things down. One of the ways that I like to teach is to involve as much of your experience as possible. If I just talk to you, it'll be exciting, but it's kind of like eggs on Teflon, slides right off if you don't do something to kind of integrate it and make it your own. So that's one of the reasons why I have you write something down, because you're involving your body, you're involving your attention, you're involving yourself. So it's important. And it's an and but. If you can't write it down, the second thing to do is to speak it out loud. So don't just listen. If I ask you something, talk to the screen, talk to the spirit guides, but if you speak it out loud, if you name it, you claim it. There's something that if you express something, tends to stick with you more than if you're just listening. So if you're writing it down, I also encourage you at the same time to answer out loud. Now, just one or two words or just a little bit, but this way the experience becomes interactive. It's not just me talking to you, and that's more fun, and you'll have more experience. So with that in mind, my first question is, are you ready? And type it in, answer it in, but actually think about that. Am I ready to have a world like what I would call paradigm shift? Am I ready to shift my awareness and to be able to integrate or make myself available to something new? That's really important, because there's a Chinese saying, it comes from the Book of Changes, the I Ching Book of Changes. The way it begins is the way it ends. And it's super important to realize that so often we get our mindset stuck in that life is this way. And so anything new that comes in gets rejected, even if it could be transformative. Now, you've shown up. So that indicates there's a big part of you that's ready. But now I'm going to ask for all parts of you. You don't have to believe me blindly. I'm just going to ask you to be open to the possibility that what I'm saying is not just something that works for me, but could work for you. And Mike, you said something that was really important. I believe that your guides brought you here. So the very first thing I want to ask you to all think about, students listening, is, can you remember the moment you decided to show up? Mike, can you remember the moment you were guided to do that? Like, there's a moment, there's something that you in some moment say, you know what? Yes. And that's an important piece of information. So for you, Mike, do you remember, and not so much the details outwardly, but what happened internally? That's more important. What was that internal click?
I was going through a really hard time in life a couple of decades ago. Like, everything came undone. Relationship went south. Business went south. Finances were shaky. I was almost 40, and I thought, oh my God, I'm about to be so old. Now I know better. That's nothing. But I remember just thinking, what do I do? And I don't know what to do. And I don't know what to do. And I remember thinking and assessing my options and wanting to be authentic like I had never been authentic in my life, and not do something for the bucks or for status or for curb appeal, but be real. And I think this is what you mean when you say
Right.
show up. It's like, I love dwelling upon, thinking about, and reveling in the nature of reality. Okay. There's nothing I like more than to be like talking about possibilities and spirit guides and our power and the eternal nature that's in all of us. And so that's when I thought, well, you got a small little database of people, start sharing, start doing it. I was like, no, I'm awkward. I feel, who cares? Nobody asked me. Who am I to share about life when mine is in the toilet? But I would say I kind of came out of my shell, and I was prompted by this difficult time, maybe fear.
Mhm.
I feel in hindsight I was guided, but at the time I was like, I felt alone. And so I
Mhm.
want to bridge that gap and
Well,
not feel alone.
thanks for sharing that, because I really feel that it's not, it's very much the moment like that when we've exhausted all of our traditional resources and we have come up against empty, that we actually get ready
Mm.
to be guided. So this is an important thing, that what's your motivation? Because have you ever had someone give you advice or want to help you, but you're not really receptive? It's like, yeah. And you don't even remember it. And your guides are like that. They're saying, well, you're asking, and I have this funny vision in my head where all our spirit guides are talking to each other saying, did you get any calls today? Nah, no calls. Did you get, I got a couple of hangups, but no real follow through. You know, I was starting to give some advice and got disconnected. So I really feel like the most important number one thing right on your PDF is, am I ready? Am I available to being guided? Am I actually available to have some input come in that would be a bit different than, like you said, my ego? No, who am I? What's that? Am I ready to actually be available to something other than what my ego knows to be the way to do things? That is everything. And the way it begins is the way it ends.
Wow.
So sometimes pain is the motivation. Sometimes doesn't have to be.
Mm.
Could be curiosity. It could be, you know what? I just would love to have this happier experience. It could be just a desire to make life easier. So what I want you to write down is, am I ready? And then ask yourself, are you? Are you? You know, have you ever asked someone for advice and the minute they give it to you, it's like when you really don't want advice, you just want to have them listen to you complain? Well, your guides cannot interfere or override your free will or willingness to be helped. So that's everything. At one point, Mike, you made that choice. Okay, at some point, you got the guidance, you got the nudge. And this is really important. I believe that every single person on this particular broadcast has already had one or two or three or maybe many experiences of the same nudge, the same something that your ego can't control. And we'll work on making yourself more receptive. But I truly believe it's so natural that we're guided that nobody gets so blindsided that this throws their world upside down. It's more like, okay, I'm gonna let something be easier. Mm-hmm. And I love what you said too, Mike, about this, because that's very common, and I've seen this with my students. We are taught, and we're thankfully moving away from the consciousness that taught us this, that what's good about it is to be good warriors and slug it out and survive the worst and need no help and ask for nothing. And, you know, there's this hilarious scene in one of my favorite movies, and it reminds me of so many of us. It's the movie Monty Python. Do you remember the movie Monty Python? If you haven't seen it, you've got to watch.
British humor, the best.
And there's this soldier. He is slugging it out, and the guy, it's dark humor, so let me warn you, and cuts off his arm. Blood spurting, so he grabs the sword in his other arm, and he starts fighting with his other arm, and it gets cut off. So he starts kicking the guy, and off comes one leg. Now he's bouncing around, headbutting the guy. Now he's just trash, bloody stuff, and he's going, "Come back here, you chicken!" And that scene to me is how we go about life. It's like, okay, I'm going to just give it my all and get trashed. And the more trashed I am, that means the braver I am, or the more superior, morally superior. And guys, we got to stop. That warrior mentality is thankfully what is ending. And so we're actually in this tremendous opening of consciousness where people are actually getting tired and exhausted, and they're beginning to understand, what, this fighting stuff it isn't working for me anymore. I want it to be more harmonious, more collaborative, more peaceful, more just easier. And so that would be the biggest reason I would hope that you would be ready. So I invite everybody who's listening to write down maybe a couple of reasons that demonstrate that you're ready. What would motivate you? What's your motivation to be helped? I've had people, even in the most common forms of help, someone will say, you should go to therapy. It's like, no, I don't want to help. Ask your best friend to help you. No, I'll do it by myself. So many ways in which we just dismiss and just cast off. And that's what has to change. Before we can have any guide experience, you have to be someone who is prepared to be guidable. So what I'd invite again, just what would motivate you? And actually, Mike, if anybody wants to write it and share it, or you shared what motivated you, is like, I'm out of ideas. I'm out of ideas. I'm open. And so, what motivates us is really indicates how available we are to all this guidance. When I was sitting on that beach, I thought, I'm missing all the fun. Everybody's out there playing around, and I'm sitting here like a big old dud on the beach, like with the bags going, oh, that's okay. Like, I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't like that person who self-selects out because I'm afraid I'll be uncomfortable or out of control. So this is really key to having your life transformed just as fast as me and that going underwater in that lagoon. That's how fast this can happen. So,
Sonia, I got to say, I love the question because something else subliminal is happening here. And I think it's a potential block, or used to be a potential block for folks. Do you believe that there are guides? Do you believe that this could happen for you? And when we skip that question and go to, am I ready? There's an implication that I'm on board, and it's about whether or not I say yay, and we skip the whole debate of believability.
And we could go for that forever and ever. I would rather say, are you willing to be surprised? I didn't know what was under the water. I had all kinds of opinions. Too cold, won't like it, stinky mask, I don't want to be uncomfortable. That mental conversation, I choose never to go down because it's a black hole.
Well, the other thing that's exciting that you just said, and I'm sure others can relate, is, why do I want to do this? Because I'm big into self-reflection, do the work, where's my limiting, conflicting beliefs? And, it can get daunting. Like my next ambition, connect with my spirit guides. My next ambition, go within. My next ambition, self-realization. And I will frame it unintentionally as a job and work and got to do it. But when I twist it into, think how cool this is going to be aware of my divinity, to be confident in my power, to know that I'm not alone. It's like, let's do this. So I'm making my notes, and I appreciate it.
I'm glad that you're getting this, because I intentionally don't talk a whole lot to your intellect, because your intellect doesn't want to believe anything, because it means it has to give up control.
Right.
So I just bypass that. It's like, I get you. We'll have a conversation in a minute, but not first, because you're not my gatekeeper. I'm not going to allow you to be my gatekeeper, because you have no motivation to step aside. I'm going to go straight to the part that says, look, you showed up here. That's enough to tell me that no matter what your mental gatekeeper is saying, you're willing, at least a little. So I want to talk to that part of you because that's the part of you that's guidable. So
Yeah. We're getting some good
what
comments.
are some of the answers? I'm just curious. What are just what are some of the motivations?
Peggy said, I'm motivated to get direction in my life. Chantal said, I'm curious about communicating with those who have passed on in the afterlife. Carol said, to get answers as to why I'm here, what lessons I need to learn, how to gain more joy and serenity. Libby, very simple. I want to live the life I know I'm meant to live.
Perfect.
Filled with joy and love and
Yes.
adventure.
You know, so here's what I want to say to all of those people. The person asking the question, the part of you asking the question is the part of you your guides will speak to. So I want you to be aware of where that voice is coming from. Where is that question coming from? Because, and I want you to write and share some of the answers. Tell me where in your body those questions, those motivations are coming from. So
wow.
Just share, because this is very important. Where
like
in your
do
body?
you mean in your heart?
Yeah, where for you, Mike? And when you're like, crap, I'm in trouble. I need something more that I'm coming up with. Where was the yearning for help in your body?
I would have to say solar plexus, but more driven out of like, yikes, like okay, I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
Okay, and that's an important piece. So we have to recognize that it's the point in our body that's saying help is the point in the body that's going to feel the help. That's the connection point. So what do some of your students say? What do they write?
Let's see here. My throat, my heart area, also solar plexus from Lisa. In my core, from my throat to my pelvic.
Yes.
Desperate desire, said Janelle. My heart, third chakra. And people know their chakras. I'm like, where's the third chakra?
Solar plexus, my gut.
Oh, solar plexus, heart, solar plexus, a lot of that.
But we never say in my head. I have taught this and taught this and taught this for over 45 years around the world. I have taught it in every country. I say, point to where in your body you feel you want to, your availability to being guided is. And nobody ever does this. No human being I have ever talked to said it's here. This intellectual part of you isn't open to being guided. It isn't. Let's just recognize it's here. It's here. It's here. It's the hair on the back of my neck. It's here, but it's never here. So that's a very big second point of our conversation, which is, okay, point one, how guidable are you? How motivated are you? Are you really motivated? Okay, we got that. Actually, yes. So that means if I got some input, I actually would not bat it away. I actually would at least entertain it. You don't have to say yes, but I would at least entertain it. You entertained, okay, share your inquiries with the universe with other people. You had a moment where, okay, I got a piece of information that makes no logical sense. So that's another piece of information about guidance. It won't make logical sense necessarily, right? You had that, what? But it had a feeling to it, right? Yeah. It had an energy. It wasn't a thought. It was bigger than a thought. It had an energy that moved you to do something different. So we need to recognize guidance doesn't come in thinking. That's good news, because our thoughts are so confused in a big mess and a jumble of nonsense anyway that thank God, because then I won't miss it.
A few people have actually started saying, I thought it was my brain, or I wrote down my brain, or in my mind. I think I think we tend to believe that, we are our thoughts.
Mhm.
I think what you're saying, though, is that with this course being about spirit guidance, it generally is not going to originate from here. There's
Doesn't
going to be a
speak to your
yearning of.
intellect.
Mhm.
So if I were to inquire deeper and say, okay, your mind got the message, but where did you feel it first?
Mm.
Your mind got the message because it's got to bubble up and be interpreted. But where did
Mhm.
you first feel it in your body? This is new, and this is a whole new way of looking at things. So yeah,
Mhm.
your mind's involved. It gets to listen and it gets to agree or not, but it's not where the guidance first comes.
Mhm.
It comes in an energy, and your body is the receiver of that energy. And I'm going to help you improve your receivability, but you can't even turn the receiver on unless you're motivated.
Mhm.
So I'm going to receive guidance, but unless I turn on the receiver, don't believe it, can't happen. What the hell? Prove it. Receiver's off. Turn on. Something's got to help me. Receiver's on. I know there's more than what I can. Well, I know there's more than what I intellectually know. Receiver's on. Boy, I'd like my life to go easier. Receiver's on. So that's why I don't talk to the intellect, because that enforces the receiver staying off. So
Mm.
it's all very subtle, but it's fun. Okay, so B, your guides do not speak to your intellect. They speak to your spirit. Guides are spirit vibration to spirit vibration. So it's like intellect is like an AM radio. Talk, 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 talk. It's a frequency that goes one ego to the other. Intellect is ego. Intellect is ego. Spirit guides don't speak to your ego. Your ego doesn't want to talk to your spirit. Your ego doesn't even want to acknowledge that your spirit is the boss until it gets reminded of its proper organization. So, you know who reminded us best? Einstein. He said the human spirit is your sacred gift, and the rational mind is the faithful servant.
Mhm.
Sadly, we've thrown away the gift and we've become enslaved to the servant. So that means you've turned off. Spirit is like satellite, and rational mind is like AM radio, AM talk radio. So we've become completely obsessed with AM talk radio. My voices, their voices, he said, she said, they said, back and forth. But spirit is satellite. It is open to this whole higher realm. So
Mhm.
B, your spirit guides guide your spirit. Your spirit guides guide your spirit. The part of you that is your authentic, divine, inner self, the creator, the adventurer, the one here to have the human experience and learn and grow. Your spirit guide is not here to guide your ego. So that's a paradigm shift.
Mm.
So, in order, first I'm guidable, but it's my spirit that's guided. So let's now recognize the next step is you've got to recognize your spirit. So, Mike, you're going to be my guinea pig again. Okay, I would love for you to tell me about your spirit. Describe your
Mm.
spirit. Describe your spirit.
It's funny. I would say, I don't know about my spirit. I don't know one, but immediately words of description are coming to mind, like,
Right, your
uh,
ego's trying to interfere. So just say your ego doesn't
gr-
know, but your spirit knows itself.
right, grace,
Okay.
non-judgmental, super strong, like kryptonite, or is that the right use of kryptonite? I
Yeah,
mean, just indestructible,
yeah.
um, loving, uh, huge. I know that's not a physical hugeness, but just like omnipresent.
Expansive.
Yes. How weird is that to have these feelings, these words of clarity? But in my mind, my logic, I'd be like, no, I don't have I don't know about my spirit.
But you do.
Caring, like arms around me.
Mhm.
This is really wild.
Isn't it wonderful? And
Let's ask other people, because that
right,
is just so
because
weird.
this is so important, because
A
your
warrior.
spirit is who you really are. What you just described, and here's a fun thing for me to ask you. Everything that you've just told me about your spirit, is it true?
Yes, it's true. I know it's true.
Yes. See how that just, and look at your
It's
this is
very,
another thing I have to tell you about the spirit. When you start describing your spirit, I don't care who you are around the world, some things happen that happen to you. Your eyes light up, you smile.
I feel teary right now.
Yes, your energy expand, your light in your face, it's visible. Your whole self just shifted. And
Yeah.
it's visible. We have evidence. If you watch this, it goes from this to this. And
Very
it is an extremely healing thing. The most important spirit guide you have is your own, getting connected to your own spirit. So fabulous.
We've got some fun descriptions here. Mark said
Yay.
spiritual
This is one of my favorite
gangster.
things.
Marie said spunky, fun, giving, loving, tender. Patty said male and bald. And the student can fly.
Love it.
A little voice in my ear saying, you can, you can. Sandra said, I am kind. Sunshine, happy, peaceful, loving. Wholeness, soft and powerful. Old soul, titanium. I like that.
Yeah.
Peaceful warrior. There's a lot of great adjectives here. Hilarious.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very good exercise.
And you can you feel your spirit expanding? It changes you physically. You go to the higher dimension of you. So here's another fun question. It's actually an invitation. It's not a question. I would like you to name your spirit. You were to give your spirit a name, and I'll give you an example. My spirit's name is Bright Light. That's my spirit. It's a bright light. It throws a bright light on things. It lights the way. It lifts things up. When I want to connect with my spirit, I call bright light. So you can name your spirit anything you want, because when you name it, you say that's real. So let's give your spirit a name for fun. What's yours, Mike?
Well,
and you can always change it.
What first came was just like OM.
Okay, isn't it the best?
And then I don't know if it was a joke or not, but then I got Bob, so I don't.
Bob works
go with
too. So you see, you can be Bob. It's like Bob, when you know the fun part of this. It's fun. It's fun. Remember when you're a little kid and you say, let's be this and let's be that.
Connie's is Jubilee. Indigo, sparkle, sweetness. Open door is the name. Roche and Lala, two guides.
I love this.
Yeah.
Isn't this fun? We are in new territory.
Yeah.
We are in new territory. And that's where we want to be. We don't want to be in AM talk radio.
No. Now, is this our angel? Are we talking about our guardian angel?
We're talking about the energy that makes your heart beat. That no science can describe, that puts the light in your eyes, that gives your body the ability to move, that gives your brain the ability to think, that is the part of you that loves. And that's not even a guide, that's you. That is your authentic divine self. So let's give that self its own nickname. Deep waters, love it. So your ego's like, well, I don't know, but this is weird. I don't want it to be. What if I get it wrong? What if I don't like it? See all the resistance. It's like, we're just playing. We're just playing.
Can you have two spirit guides? Somebody just asked.
But we're not talking about your guides yet. We are only talking about your spirit.
Like the Holy Spirit. That some reference?
You. We're talking about you, not even your guide. We'll get to your guides. But first, we're going to start that your guides guide your spirit to be its best expansive self in the world. So let's connect to a part of you that is really very possible. And that word that you were describing. So we're not talking yet about your guide. We're talking about you, the true you.
Could this be synonymous with soul, or am I thinking too hard?
No, the soul is not the spirit. The spirit is the part of you that puts the light in you, that beats your heart. That when you take the first breath, do you remember when your daughter was born?
Yes.
Do you remember that breath?
I wasn't in the room. Oh, but I heard it on the phone. I was cross country speaking.
But
she was 6 weeks. I heard the cry. Suddenly I heard the cry, and it was like, oh, it made me cry.
Here.
I cry a lot.
She's here. We all have that moment, and that's our spirit. So don't go to your head. Don't let your head, you know full well your daughter is not just that body.
No, right.
She's that essence. There is an essence in all of us.
Wow, and that's what we all have.
Yes.
Wow. Like when I was born, my mom and dad heard that.
Yes.
Witnessed my spirit.
Like, when the chorus
that's
is up
we
and
really are, right?
You landed. You landed. And that is what I'm talking about. We need to realize we are spirit. We have spirit guides, and we come from the spirit world, and we're having a human journey. But we are spirit. And that's why it makes sense to have connection with spirit. We're not on two different planes. We are actually spirit embodied. And it's very important. So I would love, in addition to expressing, I love that I'm going to talk to my spirit. I'm not going to talk to my ego. I'm going to talk to my spirit.
Wow, that's so good.
And my spirit guides talk to my spirit. Mm-hmm. It was your spirit that got the message to say, share your inquiries about the universe. Your ego is going, what?
That's right. That's true. For free?
But your spirit said yes.
But I need money. Just do it.
But still you said yes because you felt an energy that was bigger.
Mm-hmm. That's right? True. That's true.
So I want to point out to people when I'm teaching, this isn't a bunch of figure it out in your head. Do you realize already we're not in your head? We are in like the waters in the ocean. We are playing in another realm already. We're not in the intellect. Now, want to have some fun? I go back to what Einstein said. The rational mind, the faithful servant. So your ego isn't the enemy. It's just not the boss. Okay? So.
Good. I like that.
When I think of a faithful servant, I think of your pet dog. And when you have a pet dog, they want to be your faithful servant. So I think it's important to give your name, name your ego, and what kind of a pet dog do you have? So if your ego were a pet dog, mine, clearly you can see it, I'm a poodle. I know it's like obvious. I'm a poodle. My ego is a poodle. She likes to wear poodle clothes, and she likes to do poodle things. She lives in Paris, and her name is Fifi. Okay, so when my ego is in the way, that is Fifi the poodle trying to be the boss.
Oh, mine's a German Shepherd for sure. Very German-oriented, organized, orderly, take charge. Bruno or Max or something is the name. So that's a great question. Let's see what somebody else is saying. Mrs. Meerkat said something like spunky mooring. I think maybe that, whatever that is. Lola, teacup Yorkie, Phoebe, Ashley, I am a Malamute. Nancy, oops, I just flashed. Oops, I lost. There's Nancy. I have stifled my spirit for a long time. Earthbound. I'm skipping around. Australian Shepherd named Ace. Pit Bull named Bowser. I
Don't
can feel
you
that.
see, now we can actually love and appreciate our ego, but know its place.
Now
It's
I
like,
feel like
I
I
know you're trying
understand my
to help
ego.
me. I know you're trying to help me, and if you're trained, you do help me, and you're a good companion. But if you try to be the boss, you're going to poop all over the room and make a mess of things. So we just have to give you a name and know when Fifi's acting out, my ego's trying to control, and she's making a bunch of barking noise, and I can't hear my guidance. So we're playing. When you play, you're in the other side of your brain and body and your heart, and we are in swimming in new waters.
This is so fun. This is so fun. I can really feel like I can have compassion for my German
Right, it's
Shepherd
not
now.
the enemy. We don't shoot the dog. I mean, we
Yeah.
train the dog and know its place. And
Yeah.
by the way, another thing that really helps to get your barking dog out of the way so you can feel your guidance is take your dog for a run. Let's go for a walk. Let's move that energy. Let's do something, because then it calms down.
That's so good.
And then you can hear and connect with your spirit. So, number one, what's your motivation? And number two, connect with your spirit. Connect with your spirit. Describe your spirit. My spirit is really wild. My spirit is like comes across low key, but fearless and goes where people don't go. I mean, I am a curious adventure. I'm a free spirit. I am a dancer. I am funny. I will go into where everybody runs away. I'm the first one to check it out. Curious. I'm a storyteller. My spirit loves a good connection. You can see it. Now, Fifi.
I can see that.
Yeah. Now, Fifi, she gets into fashion. She gets into like good food. She gets into being irritable, and I'm tired, and leave me alone, and I need to be alone. And that's my ego. I love her, but she's not my spirit. Bruno or Max Bruno, Maximilian Bruno, your German Shepherd, is a faithful servant. He is helping the deal go, but he's not your spirit.
No.
He is your helper. So we have everything set up so you can get guidance, right?
Wow. Yes.
So we are just going back to my first story. I had to get off the ground and into the water and discover there's a whole other way to experience life. And that's what we're doing tonight. That's what we're doing. We're getting ourselves guidable and in the sea of guidance and guides. And just like going in the sea, my spirit went in, and then I meet the world of guides. I had to go into my spirit to meet the other people in the sea, other life forms. And you have to get into your spirit to connect with the spirit world. Make sense?
Yeah, so clear.
So it makes it easy. If you name your spirit, then you can have your spirit ask for guidance. You can tell your barking dog, I need to take you for a run, or you need to sit and be quiet. Stop barking. And then all that noise in your head, what can I do? And I'm so worried, and this doesn't make sense. It's barking dog. So you don't give it importance. It's just a barking dog that's territorial and scared. So you don't have to get in and dissect each bark. That's exhausting. So this is a quick way to get out of your head.
It's awesome.
It works. That's the thing. We're just changing the channel. We're just changing the channel. So everybody take a deep breath and just do this. So I'm going to teach you right now, step 3, how to put your body in a guidable, receptive state. Okay? So how to quiet the barking dog and how to connect with your spirit. That's step 3. And it's a practice. And I call it going down the slide. So I'm going to teach you something. You're going to slide home. So first question, Mike, I'm going to ask you too.
Okay.
If I'm going to say, where does your spirit live? Where in your body does your spirit live? Where do you want to point?
Well, I really want to point like it's all around, but if I had to
Mhm.
say in my body, I would have to say solar plexus again.
Right, it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
It's my heart and belly right here. That is where your spirit lives. This is your what and actually science is finally catching up. Thank God. I've been very patient with them. They're finally saying you have the heart brain and the gut brain. Okay, they're finally recognizing. It took 50 years for me to have them catch up with me, but I've been waiting. Okay, here. All right. So, sliding home. To get guidance, you have to slide home. So I'm going to give you a technique. Write down, slide home, and then there's some sub steps. Step 1, look around the room and name 3 things that you see in front of you, wherever you are. So everybody do this. I see the computer. I see the windows outside in my little French apartment. I see there's the plant behind me. So name 3 things, but actually look at them as you're naming them. So what do you see, Mike?
I have a statue of an Egyptian god here.
Yay!
Thoth.
Hathor.
Thoth, yes. And then I have a photograph of my wife.
Okay.
And I would not leave home without my magic 8-ball.
Okay. Perfect. Now,
My
why
daughter
do
put
I have
hers
you
on my
do
desk.
this? I have a reason for you to do this. When you look around and you notice what's in front of you, you get out of your head. You get into your body and you get very present. Like here I am. I notice glass of water. Take a drink. Stop thinking. You're not in your view. You're not in the back and the forward and what if. You're present. So that's step 1. So next, turn your attention from the outer world and notice the feeling in your body. Not why. That's important. Just what. Tension, excitement, heart beating, not beating, holding my breath, not holding my breath, whatever. Just notice the temperature, the feeling of your body. Again, don't particularly get interested in this story. And now what I want you to do is I want you to exhale like you're blowing out candles, pull your belly to your spine and empty all that energy in your body like this. Pulling your belly to your spine until there's nothing left. Open your jaw wide, really wide. If you hear a click in your ear, inhale and let out a loud sound. Ah. And smile. Let the light come in your heart space and begin to fill up your body above and below as you breathe, front and back, both sides, and move beyond the edges. So you are now in a room made of light that we call your room to breathe. One more time. Ah. Okay, open your eyes. What's happening in your head?
I'm feeling loose and relaxed and centered.
And your head is quiet.
Yeah.
Instant meditation, everybody. Quiet. That's the guidable state. You're listening. You're not talking. You're present. You're available. You're listening. So you have to be in a guidable state to be guided. Physically, have you noticed how your body changed? You know, there's no accident whenever you hear about magicians and intuition, and we always say, aha. Because you just opened everything and brought your spirit into your body present, quieted the barking dog, filled yourself with light, and now you are able to receive guidance.
Delicious.
Yeah, so it's like I really want everybody to know these are some very physical shifts, very paradigm shifts. So we're just changing it up to live in an expanded state. We are not just living on AM radio anymore. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
So now you're guidable. Now you're actually available to be guided.
Yes, beautiful.
So that's like the setup to change your own frequency. You know, people talk about I got to change my frequency. Well, this we just actually experienced it. It's not just words, and it's not just think. You got to shift your whole perspective. You got to shift the channel you're on. You got to slide home. I call that sliding home. Okay, so what have you learned tonight? I want everybody to start telling me, what have you learned so far that you're actually going to use?
Comments about being relaxed. Okay, number 1, Susie, get out of my head. Feel your body. Blow out breath.
Yeah.
Ashley, train my ego.
Train your barking dog. It's easier to call it your barking dog.
Connie, how to get quiet and receive.
Yeah.
A veil, a bull, as in lift the veil.
Yeah,
Nice
love that.
one. To be present, grounded. Oh, it flew past me. Calm my pit bull. Getting to a guidable state. Telling my dog to sit and stay.
Nice. See, you actually, because when you write what you've learned, you're going to own it.
Yes,
That's why I want you to write it down, because when you and say it out loud while you're writing it, because then you own it, you imprint it, it anchors inside.
Yeah.
Nice,
so
right?
Then with my list of dreams, ambitions, self-realization, taking this to guide the help that's coming. Is there a step there to say, okay, like how to ask for help, how to ask for a question, how to?
This is my last thing I'm going to teach you tonight, and it's really good. You can't be guided on anything unless you truly want to receive an answer. Okay? Fair?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mike, do you have a question that you would like to ask your guides?
Well, I guess to put it into words, where I'm at in my life now is yes, to increase this connection every single day, so that I have confidence, peace, a true sense of my unity with all.
Okay. So that you really want guidance on that. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
Completely receptive. Check.
Totally.
Okay,
I'm there.
Good.
This is what matters
so
most.
Everybody, follow this. What's your question? Or what's your guide? Where do you want guidance? Are you completely really available? Check. But I loved it because you didn't go like this. You went like this. You checked. So fun to watch. Okay, so let's ask Bruno Max first. Let's talk to Barking Dog. He needs to pipe in, so let's just go there. So Bruno Max is going to answer, how do I stay connected to the universe, to this state? So let's let Bruno bark a little bit and give us his input.
Bruno says, read more, meditate more, meditate better. Bruno, that doesn't sound like much fun, Bruno.
Okay. Bruno has answers, right? How does your body feel?
It feels just like that which I want is at hand already. See what's obvious. You're already underwater
Bruno,
in the
let me
curl.
get more specific. After you listen to Bruno, how did Bruno's input leave you feeling?
Oh, it sounds like work, and it sounds like discipline, and it sounds like doing things that are actually different than what I want, you know?
Okay. Okay. Let's take a breath. Ah. And you know what, Mike? Here's another trick, everybody. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Take a breath and look around. That keeps you present.
Hmm.
Now, what do we name your spirit? For now.
Om.
Om. Om, sweet Om. What do you have to say? How can I stay connected? How can I grow this? What does Om, sweet Om have to say?
Keep this channel open. You know, always be in spirit, always summon spirit, always feel from spirit. Um, uh, uh, the dog is saying, go outdoors, go outdoors. Om is like, it's indoors or outdoors. It doesn't matter. You know, just be in spirit. You're there. You are where you want to be. So with the channel open, with receptivity going on, with the intention prevailing, my will shall be done.
How does your body feel?
Ease. Like, okay, got
And
this.
you've been smiling
Self-realization.
the entire time.
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
Yeah, it's crazy easy. It's so easy.
So that's step 3. Ask your barking dog, check your body. Ask your spirit, check your body. But first, is it a real? Are you truly guidable? Is it a question I'm truly available to? Is it something I am willing to listen to? Now, here's the final thing, everybody. You have a choice, Mike. You can listen to Bruno or Om Sweet Om. You get to choose. You don't have to listen to Om Sweet Om. You get a choice. And this is important because we need to realize I can get guidance. Maybe I'm not ready to listen. I don't have to, but I want to hear it and I still get to choose.
Well, what's so cool is that I see the difference between the two.
You
And
feel
I
it.
feel like Om Sweet Om is not just somebody to listen to. That's like who I really am.
Yes,
Like
yes, yes,
that.
yes.
And that's a distinction that's possible by breaking it into these two points of identity. And it's very like
Simple.
um it's really in my face right now. It's like,
Yeah, and your face is really smiling.
yeah.
And we
Ah,
can't help it. We
yeah.
can't help it. The heart opens, the spirit comes in, up comes the light, in comes the guidance. But I put you in the guidable state.
Yeah. I feel like I don't have to go anywhere. I feel like, oh, wherever I am, Om is. Just
And don't
it's
you love it? It's Om Sweet Om.
yeah, I like that twist.
Yes, that's divine humor. That's another thing that always shows up when you're getting guidance, just a bit of humor. So
Mm.
that I think now we can kind of bring this experience to maybe a shift, and let's go to some questions.
Fantastic. Oh, well, send me the bill, Sonia, because this has been amazing. Just
I
exactly.
personally think it's a healing because the word healing means coming back to the wholeness of who you are, and it's real.
Yeah. It's like really so incredibly subtle. It's like I could not have asked for more. All right, so everybody, we're going to take your questions now. Sonia's going to answer your questions, and we've got some really good ones. I've made some notes as this has been happening. Let's see here. The first question I want to ask, oops, here we go. Here we go. Is, oh, wait a minute. Can you repeat the difference between soul and spirit, please?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to make this simple But to take it further, I've actually described it quite well in a book of mine called Grace, Guidance, and Gifts. And it's like right in the introduction.
Great guidance and gifts.
Grace, Guidance, and Gifts.
Great.
Grace, Guidance, and Gifts.
Oh, grace, guidance, and gifts.
Mm-hmm.
How many books have you written, Sonia? Do you
I've written
know?
28.
28.
But my books are not big lectures, believe me. They're full of this kind of stuff.
Oh,
but
that's
in
so
Grace,
good.
Guidance, and Gifts, I actually describe the spirit is the life force. It's like the sun that gives you life. It's the essence of your divine self. Your soul is the part of you that's come to earth to learn to master creativity. So it's getting the messages from the spirit and applying them. So your soul is the student, the adventurer, the one learning to live your spirit. So it's like it's like if you're being beamed down from your spirit, your soul's the one receiving the beaming. It's like, okay, I can do this, I can learn this, I can learn this. Because the soul can have a dark night of the soul. Spirit's always the light. The soul.
So spirit is above soul.
Right. The spirit is like the sun, and the soul is like the part of you on earth feeling the sun, trying to live the sun, trying to connect to the sun, stay connected to the sun. But the sun is always the sun.
And the soul might have different reincarnational aspects that all
Absolutely.
emerge from the
The part
soul.
of you learning. It's the part of you that's learning. It's the student in you that's here learning.
Oh, spirit is big. Spirit is
everything.
Well, and I think it's like the religious Holy Spirit. Is it? Would you say?
It is. The Holy Spirit. No, every one of us has a moment where our heart started beating. We took a breath, and it all started. And that was a holy moment. The sacred you is here.
Wow, this is new. This is good. Okay,
I
didn't write it.
Simple too.
Say that again.
I think it's important we keep it simple.
Yeah. Why is spirit the ruler but not the intellect? Just want to understand.
Okay, I'm going to do something interesting here. What's the name of the person asking?
I copied and pasted from 30 minutes ago, so I don't have that name right now. Oh, here it is. It's Hebrew. Hebrew is asking.
I would say, Hebrew, you answer me. Answer your own question and tell me what you feel. Because I explained this to you very well, and you're asking a question that I actually explained very well. So I want you to tell me the answer.
Okay, Hebrew, why is spirit the ruler but not the intellect?
Why is that, Hebrew?
This is a playful challenge.
No, it's a good teacher.
Yeah.
I'm a good teacher asking because this is the ego trying to keep control. Hebrew, you know the answer. You're just asking like a doll with a pull string because the brain keeps saying, because you're not really trying to understand. You're trying to stay comfortable in the same place you asked.
Hebrew says Hebrew is the person. The answer is Hebrew is the person.
Mm-hmm.
Because the intellect is open to be corrupted by our experiences, maybe?
Yes.
Hebrew said.
Right. And the ego can tell you things that aren't true. The spirit is not corrupted by opinion and bias. It's the connector. So here's the thing, people. I'm not being rotten to say Hebrew answer. I'm being a good teacher to say Hebrew. I'm challenging you to rise to the occasion of knowing the truth within you, because I don't want you to listen to me. I want you to listen to your own spirit and call it up. That's why I answered it that way.
Good. All right, Valerie asks, every time I try to contact my spirit guides, I have a terrifying / evil experience, even after surrounding myself with love and light. Can you provide some insight into why this might be?
Because couple of things. It's your ego asking, not your spirit. And your ego's terrified because it's like, crap, if I ask and I actually get connected to my spirit, I'm not in control anymore. So don't ask from that channel. That's just drama. You have to, and it's the ego throwing up a bunch of drama so I can stay in control. It's your barking dog going crazy. So you say, okay, barking dog, I suggest first go for a run. Let's turn on some music and dance. Let's move some of this intensity and drama out of your body. Because when you dance and you move, the spirit takes over, because you can't move unless the spirit's in your body. Okay, so let's move some energy. Remember, I taught you at what's the name of your spirit? Have your spirit, which is the beautiful part of you, connect to the satellite and get out of AM talk radio, because you're on a really lousy, noisy channel. That's my answer.
Great. Leanne asks, can we receive guidance on anything we're interested in? Can we ask who, what, how, where, and when, and why questions and receive guidance?
What I suspect is that you're confusing guidance with turning your power over to spirit guidance. When you have a guide, it's like a coach on the basketball court teaching you to play the game. You can't have them come out and play the game for you while you sit out and watch. You can ask, but if you start asking who, what, when, where, how, and why, that sounds a little bit like you're trying to avoid the unknown. I think the question that needs to be asked is, guide me, and just what's next. I would never ask why, because your intellect is back in control. Instead, I would say, guide me. Give me guidance instead of me telling you how to guide me. You surprise me. And then, of course, you can ask for guidance on everything, but you can't dissect the guidance until your ego's back in control. So when my guidance, for example, to start sharing his exploration of the universe, his ego was who, what, when, where, and why, but he ignored it. He didn't wait for all those answers. He said, Max, later, and went with it. And that's a condition. So you're qualifying so you're not uncomfortable. Guidance, I invite you to do something that might not be comfortable for your ego, but that's why you have a choice.
Gosh, so good. Jinan, what I need guidance on, is there such a thing that is too big or too vague? I want guidance in knowing what is my best path forward. Is that a good question or too vague to get guidance?
You know, I've solved that myself very easily when I was very young. I decided to ask my guides and my spirit to move me in the direction of my highest good this day. And I just said, I make an agreement with you that I'm movable. So you move my body, you move my words, I give you permission to move me in the direction of my highest good. Because what you're asking for is a little bit different than what you think you're asking for. What you're asking for is help me figure it out. But you're back in the head. You're not going to figure it out. Just tell your spirit and your helpers, move me in the direction of my highest good. Now, I'm going to give you a quick story on that. I had the guidance when I was 20 years old to go to France. So my Fifi, who'd been studying French for a year, decided to leave college and become a flight attendant. That was a good Fifi plan, right? Except, so I quit college and I got hired as a flight attendant and I hated it. And I didn't get to Paris. I got to Peoria and I got to Ohio and I got to Cleveland. No Paris. I was at the bottom of the seniority list and what had I figured out? It was all wrong. So I quit the airline and I went back to college. And I asked the French professor who was in charge of the study abroad program. I said, can I go? And she said, no, you're not even a student. You quit. What are you talking about? You have to re-enroll. The deadline's over. You can't go. Okay, but I had the guidance to go. Okay, I had the yearning and the guidance. So I went and sat on the grass, closed my eyes, and I said, move me in the direction of my highest good. And I got, now mind you, I am a very shy, and I still am a low-key person. My spirit's this, but my personality's quiet. I got the guidance to get up and go right in that moment to the dean's office and ask the dean of the school to let me in. That scared me. I was afraid. That was intimidating. I was an authority figure, but I did it. My body got up and I marched in the door to the big administrative building at the University of Denver. And I walked up into the dean's office, and the secretary met me and said, you can't get an appointment. You have to get in line. It's going to be 2 weeks before you can even speak to me. You can't just walk in here like this. Very annoyed with me that I wasn't understanding the protocol and the importance of the dean. And I blurted out, you don't understand, it's a soul thing. And just as I said that, the dean walked in behind me and he said, what's a soul thing? And I just turned around and just started crying. And I said, you don't know me. And I want to go to France, and I have to go to France. And I became a flight attendant, and now I was in Peoria, and I'm just barfing this whole thing. And I went to the French department, and she said I couldn't go, and I have to go. It's a soul thing. He asked me one question. He said, what airline? And I was like, what airline? He said it was TWA, which doesn't even exist anymore. It dates me. And he said, okay, I'll get back to you. That was it. So I walked out and I was like, what was that? What will happen? No reassurance, nothing, just okay. 2 weeks later, I got a letter of admission back to school with a full tuition scholarship to the Sorbonne in France. I didn't ever and would never have figured that out. So that's why you don't say who, what, when, where, and why, because that's AM Talk Radio. You just say yes when you get the guidance and you get this. So there you go.
Wow.
20 years old.
That's so amazing. Jeez.
Well,
okay.
the universe is that generous, Mike. The universe is so much better at figuring things out. I never even thought about how I'd pay for this. It didn't cross my stupid 20-year-old my immature young mind was just following the guidance. So I say, don't figure out your path. Just ask your Holy Spirit and your guides to move you in the direction of your highest good, and then don't argue.
Jeez. Well, look at me writing notes from the universe, which have always been free. I never could have figured out. I would have thought it was silly, but it evolved, and it has given me the life of my wildest dreams.
See, I love that you're sharing that, because figuring it out limits you, because it only shows you only draw from what you know, and you don't know much.
Yeah, it's true.
Much more to provide guidance. So what you know is an obstacle. Push it aside and say, okay, I'm available.
That's so true. Okay. Barbara says, how do I not let my disability keep me from doing things?
Well, I have another story about that. I had a student come to one of my workshops, and she was a thalidomide baby. I think I'm saying that right. Thalidomide was a drug they gave mother or pregnant women, or they didn't know. But anyway, the babies that were unfortunately born were born without arms and legs. They had fins. There was a whole bunch of them in a period of time that before they realized that this drug caused these horrendous birth defects. I think it was the 60s. Anyway, she came into my workshop with her girlfriend, and her girlfriend had pushed her in the wheelchair. And a big part of my workshop is dancing. So she sat there for a while in the morning. And of course, I can't dance. She never said I can't dance. She just watched and smiled. So then we went to lunch, and we took a 90-minute lunch. And when she came back and it was time to dance, She whips her arms and legs out, the one she had, and they had ribbons on them. And she was dancing with the rest of us. So the point is, what she had was the imagination and the understanding that my spirit is never disabled. My physical body has some challenges in my soul path. My spirit is not disabled. So my point to you is your body is having these moments and these limitations, but your spirit does not. So ask your guides and your spirit to give you the imagination and the ideas that transcend your physical condition. And it will.
Wow. That was good. There are some more really good questions we're going to get to in a minute, but I want to tell everybody watching right now something that's got me really excited, especially given my own little breakthroughs in this 90 minutes, that Sonia and I hereby announce a 21-day adventure, Meet Your Spirit Guides. We're going to kick off 21 days in a row of an adventure led by Sonia. Every day, a 4, 5, 6 minute video with tips and tricks on calling in your guides, leveraging them for help, understanding your power, and 4 workshops within that at a price you choose. I gotta get all of this out, and then we're going to answer some more questions. It's going to be variable pricing because Sonia and I both are really into this whole new idea of just inclusivity, leave nobody behind. Whatever suits your budget, you pick the price you pay, money back guarantee. Sonia, can you just give us a peek as to using spirit guides, maybe versus this talk, which has been significantly about spirit itself?
Well, here's the thing. Today, what I did is I put you in a position to connect with your spirit and to start living in a world where spirit guides and help and synchronicities and magic and wonderful things can happen. I took you out of AM talk radio and I took you into this new universe. Okay. And I have now created, you are now in ideal conditions to be guided. It is a natural experience. However, when you go, I want you to know that there's much as you look out the window and you see all the people and all the opportunities, that the people who could help you and wonderful occasions of where you could be nourished and you could have music and you can have friendship and community. Well, you have the same in the spirit world. So as we go forward, I want to introduce you to what's available, who's available. You have your angelic realm. They help you in certain areas. You have your spirit guides. They're like the volunteer corps. They change. So I will teach you how to understand that it's not a static thing. It's a living, dynamic, breathing, interactive experience where you are guided moment to moment to be your best self, because your best self helps all of us. So it's a whole guided excursion so that you become very comfortable and very, very at ease in the spirit world. And you begin to recognize and speak spirit. You begin to see how it works, because it doesn't talk and communicate the way your ego does. So I help you find your way and learn to get the clues and see and know who's helping, who to call for what, so that it becomes easier. So we're no longer fumbling in the jungle in the dark at night without a flashlight. You're getting a guided tour with a whole parade of helpers who want you not to miss one beautiful thing. So that's what the actual next episode is about. But you're guidable now, and that was the most important thing.
There's 21 installments, 4 workshops. One of the workshops, we're going to learn about joy guides. If you're curious about all the other types, as Sonia just said, you're going to know all about your options, the elementals and the angels.
Healer guides, joy guides, SOS angels, master teachers, nature spirits, light beings. It's a big universe of guidance, and they're wonderful.
This is so cool. Well, let's go to some questions now. I've got one from Barbara. Oh, no. Wendy, what are ghosts? Are they spirits?
Ghosts are when the spirit has left, but the soul isn't clear yet. So it's in the interim. The soul has not fully let go of the human experience. So they hang around for a while. Some hang around a long time, but not. They have no power. It's like an energy field of memories of the human experience, but the life force has left. So it's really kind of like a tape recorder of your human experience kind of still floating around.
Okay. Phyllis asks, how can you tell if your mind is making up the answer?
Well, we first of all, your spirit is connected to your imagination. And so let's not say making up is a problem. If you can imagine it, that's the door. How about we say, how do I know if my mind's figuring it out? And versus receiving through the imagination channel. You know how? Just rewatch this. Can they rewatch this?
Yes, they can. Everybody, if you came in late,
Why
I saw
can't you
some
watch it?
comments. This is on your desk.
When I had Bruno talking and I had him, Mike, coming from the mind, his whole physical body changed. And when the spirit was talking, his whole physical body changed again. It's very visceral. You can feel it. When it's your mind, you contract. It's noisy. It goes round and round and round. It doesn't stop talking. It drains you. You lose light. Your mouth goes south. Your energy slumps. And if it's your spirit, it animates you. You can physically feel the difference. So that's how.
Yeah, everybody, if you didn't do it already during this broadcast, write down descriptive words of your spirit that really deeply touched me. And then ask your question, whatever it is. I want self-realization. I want wealth and abundance. Let your little doggy answer it, and then let your spirit answer it. You will be surprised. It really moved me.
You will always have two different answers.
Yeah. All right, here's a question. How do you know when you get a nudge if you are being guided to take action or guided not to take action?
Okay. The thing is this. Your spirit is who you are. The spirit guides. Speak to that and will create the urge to do something. The action, not action, not action, that's back up in your head. But the feeling of guidance doesn't change. For example, write notes to the universe. Well, I don't know that. Who do I am? What am I thinking? What is that? Write notes to the universe. Well, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Write notes to the universe. Guidance is consistent. Doesn't flip flop, and it doesn't answer those arguments. It just keeps saying, "Do this." It didn't get into a conversation with your head. It just said what it had to say, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oceana Island asks, are you saying that spirit, soul, and ego are three different things?
three different frequencies, yes. The spirit is the essence of your holy self. Your soul is the part of you who incarnated to learn to become a co-creator with the universe, and your ego is your helper.
I love that. Wow. Okay, let's see. We've got 1 minute. Let's see if I can discern a question. How can I tell if I'm hearing my spirit guides or my own ego, a wolf in sheep's clothing?
I have explained it before, and I'll explain it again. Listen, you will feel it. If it's your ego, your energy contracts. Your energy in your face goes dark. You feel drained. It feels like work. Your head gets heavy. There's lots of noise, a lot of conversation. Your spirit and your spirit guidance is simple, doesn't have a lot of words. You didn't get a lot of words. Go to the dean. Not, you got to go talk to the dean and convince him to do this and that and explain. Just go to the dean. Guidance is simple, direct, and consistent, but it lifts you up and moves you. If it's your head, it's congested, back and forth, collapses, contracts. Physically, you feel the difference. And let me remind you, you have a choice. You can listen or not. And it's important to remind yourself of that. But pay attention to the results of your choices. How'd that work out for you? You put the bar, if Fifi's in charge, things don't work out as well for me. Bright Light's in charge, I get constantly surprised.
Sonia, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, shout out your takeaway. We'd love to hear from it.
Thank you, all of you beautiful spirits. Your spirit brought you here because your spirit wants you to connect with your spirit because it's your best you. And it's reliable, and your guides are waiting in the wings for the green light to come help you.
Somebody just asked if the 21 videos are recorded. Yes, they are. And so will be the 4 workshops. And all participants get a really beautifully designed downloadable workbook. So all of it will be on your dashboard for life. So you do not have to be at the live broadcasts, or if you miss a daily video, you can go at your own pace. You don't have to do that. Plus, there's going to be community, all for a price you choose. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us.
One more thing.
Please.
The one thing about my spirit that is probably the most important thing is I'm a teacher. And the thing that I love most is empowering you so that you don't have to be attached to me or anybody, that your own spirit can really take over and guide you, and you feel secure and safe in life. And that's my spirit's joy. So you leave with strong tools and skills that don't make you dependent on anything. And that's the point. So thank you, Mike. I had fun. Thank you for being such a willing participant.
Thanks for letting me play like that. You know, I had no idea how much I would get out of that. I should never be surprised, not with you. You know, Sonia, I remember we met the first time probably like 12 or 13 years ago. Do you remember?
I think that we met at the one of the book conferences.
Yes, we
shared the stage. Very well. I knew then Mike and I are going to have a very important connection in the future. I knew it.
Well,
you were brand new. I think it was my first book conference.
I think it was mine too, and it was in Orlando, where my home base is.
I remember it was really a moment. So, you know, I just want to say, who wouldn't want to live this way? My God, it's just a better way to live. That's all.
Yes, it's our natural state, and we've got in the way, and we made it complicated.
Well, thanks for spending the time with me, everybody. Your spirit graced me with your presence, and I really appreciate and bless and honor you. And thank you for the generosity of your attention. And you too, Mike. Thank you so much. This is my favorite thing in the world to share. So thank you for giving me the platform to do that.
Thank you, Sonia, and team behind the scenes, Ryan, Ivy, and everybody else. And everybody, if you're on the dashboard now watching this, just below the image you're watching is all the details. We look forward to seeing you there and continuing this conversation, going deeper, having even more fun. Tally ho, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Au revoir.
Au revoir, my love. Bye-bye.